40% of all church plants in America, over 40% of all church plants in America are in the South. You know, the countries with the states with the most church plants are Texas, California, Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina. The only two of those that have less than 25% Christianity are California and Florida. You know, the top 5 states for having for Baptists are all in the South. But yet, over 40% of our church planters are going to the South. Now, these are just some things I want you to think about. You know, maybe one of you has a son, a grandson, or something that's thinking about going into the ministry and planting a church. You know, maybe you could offer him some wisdom. You know, God tends to send people where He needs them. When my pastor came to Black River, there was only 2 people in First Baptist Church of Black River. The only King James only Baptist church in our town. When your pastor came here, he had to start a church because there wasn't one. You know, those are the things the Lord calls us to do, is to bring His word to people. I think a lot of church planting, but unfortunately I think a lot of church planting is done through a business model. A lot of missions is done through a business model. We're not running a business. The managing director of Leadership Network, which worked in cooperation with a study, said there is this bulge of young adults that come up and begin to create new forms of institutional faith. There will always be a need for new churches and new church plants to serve those needs. So what he was teaching these kids that were about to plant churches is, hey, there's kids growing up in these churches that aren't satisfied with the truth of God, so you can go there and plant a church where there's already a church and do something different that's not by the Bible, and you'll get a church built. That's how we're planting churches in America. I mean, that's what the numbers say. You know, I heard another man say, any town that can support a Walmart, if they don't, you can build a church there and it'll grow. I mean, it's probably a true statement, but I don't think I need to ask Walmart where I need to plant a church. I think if you're going to plant a church, you need to ask God where you need to plant a church. And let Him show you where He wants you to plant a church. Let Him show you which neighborhood you want to knock on doors that day. 20 years ago, much of the church planting efforts were focused on unserved communities. You know, when you look back at missions, when you look back at church planting in America, the call was always to bring the gospel to people that hadn't heard it. I deal with a lot of Nepali people here in America too. In India, they're one of my focuses, but in America also. And the young man I'm dealing with, Daya Canal, he came to America and was in Boston first, up here in the Northeast. I think that's where he lived the longest. I think he lived there close to 7 years. He went to Virginia for a little over a year or so and then joined the Army and came here. When me and Pastor Young knocked on his door, basically 10 years after he came to America, that was the first time he heard the gospel. He lived in America for 10 years, most of it in the Northeast, and never heard the gospel. We need to be not reaching the young and dissatisfied, but the unreached. Perhaps so more of us have become rebellious than I realize, and that's why we're not going where God would have us go. But I know through our prayers, God can do great and wonderful things. Maybe here in upstate New York, once again, will be the beginnings of a great revival in the United States, and we'll begin to plant churches once again amongst those people that haven't been reached. But if we're going to do it, it has to be through possessing the land that He's giving us here first. You need to be warriors that are prepared to go in and take the land that God has told your leader to go in, bring you in to take, which for this congregation is Governor. You need to be prepared to take that mountain. And I'm going to go ahead and close in prayer and turn it back over to your pastor. Dear Lord, I just thank you for this opportunity. Lord, I pray that these words that you've given me tonight